Dude,
All right.
glad we could do this.
Cheers. We recorded?
Yeah, we're already
Okay.
up.
All right.
Yeah. But here's the thing. So what I do is when the conversation starts to flow,
Yeah.
that's when the podcast starts.
Okay.
So it's not like we got to start being in podcast mode or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, first of all, what do you do? You told me a while ago. What do you do for work? I forgot.
So I work in healthcare.
Okay.
It's for a healthcare system in New York.
Yeah.
I work in specifically with HIPAA privacy and security.
Ah.
So it's like HIPAA, it's all remote. Yeah, security stuff. And the best way I can put it is we're like the cops of the employees in the healthcare system. We're making sure they're not, going into wrong patient health records and that kind of thing.
Okay. So you're
Protecting that.
making sure that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Kind of sexy. Going in there, make sure no one's messing with stuff.
the thing I like about it, though, is, well, one, the people that I work with,
Yeah.
but also, in a way, it's still honest work.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you did this thing. We know you did this thing. And you got to either find a way for this to work or you're out of here.
Yeah.
But it's very cookie cutter in that way where it's like, all right, these are the facts. This is what happened.
Yeah.
And you're investigating. You're trying to, ask people questions. Why did you do this? Again, it kind of goes back to what I'm doing over here, too.
So that's what, I always thought if I ever did anything different, it'd probably be an investigative journalist,
Yeah?
Just because I like that stuff. Now, do I want to go to school for journalism? No. Do I know how to put a paragraph together? Kind of. But just the processes of it,
Right.
You see a problem or you see an inspiration or whatever, and then you're like trying to figure it all out, and you gotta get to the source, figure out who's telling the truth, or you know what I mean. I like that, and then the different stories you get in the way or the colors that come with it and stuff like that's cool. So
Was that always a thing, like growing up? That's what you thought about doing?
Nah, probably not.
But it was just like the cool thing you kind of fantasize about, or
Probably my adulthood where you just where things are more, and I find interest in different things, especially in like other people's lives and stuff, and definitely in the interest in the truth a lot of times, like in the pursuit of the truth.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing. Like just when,
especially nowadays, man.
well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm kind of a big, kind of an anti-internet person.
Okay.
Because but I say that, but I love the internet. I like the internet, but there's like nothing real on it, Like nobody knows what's the truth.
Exactly.
And either politically, sure, like whatever side, you have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But even like random things, like I've seen people come into the cafe, right, saying things about something, and it's just because it's some meme that's circling around about like broccoli's bad for you or something. And I'm like, I think you just saw this guy. I swear to you, I saw the same thing, but people take it as truth.
Right.
So it's just the idea of like really trying to get to the black and white truth of something. That's kind of cool, Plus, like other podcasts and like storytelling outlets or whatever, and like books, like where they like interview people and stuff. It's just interesting,
It's also good and bad, right? Like with the internet, it's like one extreme is you got people that are just tunneled. They're in their own cave now, their own little tunnel, because the algorithm, social media is just digging them deeper and deeper into it.
Dude.
But then the other opposite is like, all right, now there's so many people that can freely talk, like podcasts, interviews, documentaries, and it's like, so it's good. It's good and bad.
Dude, it's good and bad, but it's like if you're trying to find like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like
create your life around it is what you're trying to say, right?
Absolutely. You need to go outside. Yeah. You need to find your own interest. The thing with the internet, and I shouldn't just say the internet. The internet's great, right? But it's like social media, where particularly you're looking at other people's lives.
Yeah.
Because if you look at social media, in my opinion, it's kind of like just advertisements. It's all it is, and I say that really where it's a lot of sponsored ads and your like Instagrams and your whatever, Twitter and Facebook and stuff. But at the same time, everyone you see on Twitter most of the time is your friends and family, whatever. They're kind of essentially advertising their lives too. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's just advertising. So, but you as a person can't help it. You're eating into it. And then I see it with younger people, especially, coworkers and my niece and nephews and stuff or whatever. It's like, I feel like they're really getting sad because all you're seeing is the happy parts of other people's lives.
Yeah.
And then
highlight reels.
Yeah.
Highlight reels.
And then you feel like you got to do the same. And now we're in this circle of like pretending, and you're
everybody's pretending. It's all all advertising.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but this, like, if you're out and about, that's fine, dude. You just know you can pretend a little bit, but after a while, most people are pretty good at finding like the truth in people. You know, so that's why that investigative journalism thing is kind of interesting. So if you see a problem, you got to go to it. You can't just go to internet and be an internet guy. It's not gonna work. You got to go boots on the ground to the wherever and figure it out. It's kind of neat. So yeah,
I agree. So dude, I think this is episode 8 or 9, something like that. I've shot about 8.
Yeah.
But most of the people I started with are either good friends of mine or people that are kind of friends. Like, I had a couple good conversations with them.
Yeah.
You're the first one where I got no idea who you are.
Perfect.
Outside of Craft Cafe.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
Shout out.
Yeah. So
I kind of want to, because when we synced up before we decided to do this, it was like this. It was just a moment we had when you were like, I got, 3 big chapters of my life.
Yeah.
I got so much to tell. I'm curious where it starts. Where's chapter 1?
Well,
who were you? What was that chapter?
Yeah, definitely. Well, where are you from? Where you were born at?
Originally, I'm born in Gainesville.
Oh, okay, Florida. That's cool.
My family's from India.
Okay, but you ever live out in India and stuff?
I actually did. So
nice.
When I was between 4 and 9.
Oh, really?
So like my childhood, my first memories were in India. So to me, I felt like I was from India. Yeah, I was born there.
Okay.
And then I came here.
Nice.
But technically, I was born here. So I remember the culture, the language, and all that.
Awesome. And you went to Gainesville when you were 9, or do you go?
Yeah, back to Gainesville.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to Tampa for USF.
Cool.
And got here ever since.
Oh, nice. I like Gainesville.
Yeah.
There's a place called Payne's Prairie there.
Oh yeah.
And I've been in Florida a long time. And I never been there.
Really?
Yeah, never, dude. Yeah. We went there. Me and my wife went there. I don't think we were married yet. And then so it was a while ago. But I've never been that close to gators before. There's hundreds of them. I've never been.
So normal, man.
I know, but I'm like, this is crazy, dude. Like, I mean, even as I'm not afraid of the wilderness or whatever. And I'm like, I wasn't afraid. I was just truly in shock that you could just walk down this thing. Gators. I saw gators fight each other. Yeah. I saw horses.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I was like, this is insane. More people should be here, dude. So, but yeah. But I was born in Florida, here in St. Pete. So.
Oh, you're born here?
Yeah. I lived here my whole, pretty much, adulthood, teenage years, till I was like 22 or something.
Yeah.
And then I went to California. So, but the gist of it is my parents live here, We got a big family. Yeah. I got a twin brother, identical twin brother.
So, really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I might have seen him.
He comes down probably once or twice a year.
Yeah.
And he looks exactly like me, except he's got a mustache usually.
All right.
And
I've seen him.
Yeah, he'll hang out here pretty much somewhere.
Right where I saw him.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'll be like, yo, this is my brother. I'll make everybody go talk to him, whatever. Because he's pretty sociable. So.
Okay.
But me and him were tight, obviously, as twins.
Yeah.
And I have an older brother, and he's 10 years older than us. And then we adopted, my parents adopted a kid the same age as me and my twin brother. So growing up, ever since like 5th grade, 4th grade, so, whatever age that is, 11, 10, we were always like together, brothers, so. And it was pretty normal childhood. And, I think we grew up pretty poor.
Okay.
Very early, but then my dad's hardworking, blue collar guy, and my mom they worked together, so it was a good marriage. They was great parents, so perfect, so nothing wrong there.
Right.
And but then we just lived in Florida, and things were good. And the kid we adopted, he had like bipolar, so once we got into high school, he started kind of acting out a little bit. So it's funny though, because he did weird stuff, man. Like he would burn down the locker room in the gym and at his school. He just couldn't, he had some.
And you had no reason. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, and I think it really, I think it affected my parents a lot. I'll flash forward a little bit, but when we were all like in our 20s, it was like my adopted brother was like, he was already doing weird stuff, but my brother, like, he just came out as gay when he was probably 20, and back then, my parents,
your twin?
my twin brother, yeah. So he kind of came out at the same time. I just went to rehab too for drugs. So like, I think my parents were like, dude, like, what happened? Because
hold on, backtrack.
Yeah.
So you had just gone to rehab.
Yeah.
And then he came out.
At the same time, and then same thing. But my adopted brother was
burning shit.
Was just he was arrested at arson and other things, and but my parents put a lot of energy in him.
Okay.
So, but I'll backtrack it a bit. But so it was a good childhood. But right when high school, that's kind of when you started really coming out of your shell. Like everything was normal. Middle school, it's all normal stuff, right? You know, we're all pretty smart kids, and we were good kids, and you know, played baseball, soccer, and whatever. You know, just did suburban kid stuff. You know, and then high school, like I see my older brother kind of just doing weird stuff. He just say weird things, and I always been close to my brothers, but it's just weird when you hear your brother being like, he'd be like, because my parents knew he had some issues.
Okay.
So he would go to the counselor, and he was my parents did foster care, so he was a kid from the foster care that stuck around, and we adopted it. So through
your older brother or
my adopted brother?
Adopted brother, okay.
My older brother, I'm not that close with because he was 10 years older. He was out of the house when I was 11, So it's like and he was around, but just not as much as my other brothers.
Yeah.
And honestly, I try to make it a point to nowadays when I'm older to call him more and try to just interact with, because I feel like he sometimes might feel like, not, he didn't have that brotherhood.
Disconnected.
Yeah, like me and my twin brother.
It's hard because 10 years is a big gap.
Yeah.
And you're in different phases of your life. Like when you go to middle school, high school, college, you're always in different phases. So it's like.
Well, yeah, but me and my twin brother especially, we had the same taste in music, same friends. We did the same stuff. We did everything. Mm-hmm. So, I call him once a week at least, if not a couple times. So,
nice. That was good.
So, I was talking to him this morning, so, but, yeah, so I don't know. I just feel bad because my older brother is pretty awesome. Just like,
Is he here in the area?
Yeah, he lives in Largo, which in my opinion is pretty much like, freaking South Florida because it's so far away. Just like, but I do call him every once in a while.
Yeah.
But
so what do you think in this chapter? Unless were you about to say more about that?
No, that's all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your relationship like with your parents?
Parents' relationship was always good.
Yeah.
It was good. My mom was perfect. She's a great mom. She was a little ordinary and
a little what?
Ordinary, kind of a little curt.
Simple in a way, or just?
No, she was not simple, dude. But she was very no filter. Especially if she had like 1 or 2 glasses of wine. She was just she's always fun, but she would just tell people stuff, and a lot of people were intimidated by my mom. That would my friends, and the girlfriends and stuff, right? But she was
she would just say it how it is.
She would just kind of I don't like her, or this she doesn't. I think she's crazy, whatever. And she's just, but she was always in a great mood all the time, dude. She loved her kids and she loved her life, So she was good. My dad, very laid back, blue collar, electrician, home inspector. So and the thing with my parents though is not a lot of people's parents are together,
That's true, man.
Yeah. So and it's honestly a good thing, and I bring it into my marriage, because are your parents together?
They are.
Well, good for you. Yeah. But you don't see a lot of people like that.
You really don't.
And they weren't just together. You meet some parents growing up, and they're they're together, but they're just kind of.
They're not really there. They're not together.
Yeah, they're existing. No, my parents loved each other, dude. They always were hanging out. They always did stuff. They were they went on walks every morning. They liked each other. You know what I'm saying? So I would see it, and I bring it into my marriage, and because it's important, and I tell my kids what's up with relationships, and I know it'll hopefully pass on to them.
So was that something that you were mindful of that, seeing how your parents were, and that making sure that that's what you wanted in your relationship?
Yeah, I think so.
Or was that something you adopted when you got older?
When I was first dating, even in high school,
it was the first thing you thought about.
Well, I was yo, I'd be is this someone I can marry?
Yeah.
To an extent, maybe the first couple girlfriends, then, you go through a little, like, whatever phase.
Right.
But it was definitely, well, I had a consciousness of, like, do I want to, like, be with this person, like, pretty much every, like, relationship, so.
Yeah, you were more intentional about it, which, again, that's rare, too.
Yeah.
I think it actually falls back on your relationship with the parents and their dynamic. Like, if you grew up with a healthy love, like a healthy example of a relationship,
for sure,
then you usually end up being better off compared to people that
I think so.
had like either one parent or just didn't see a healthy relationship.
Yeah,
like if they didn't grow up in that, they kind of end up living it out when they get older.
They got to figure it out. That's why I mean,
right? Because that's the only thing that's what they grew up with. They thought that was normal.
Yeah, that's all they see. They're not living with other families. It's like that's what it is.
They got no other concepts.
And it did. Well, and I'll say this though: I have 2 kids. My oldest son I have is with not my wife. It's with another relationship.
Yeah.
So there was a lot, and I really did try to make that work. I did, but I was on drugs in the beginning of that relationship, but I was did my best, and I remember thinking like, well, I'll put it this way: with my oldest though, it's like I met this woman, and we were together for a very short amount of time, and she got pregnant. And I was like, we're gonna make this work, whatever. And we had the kid, but we were not good, right? And I had to make a very hard decision, right? And I remember it was not easy to be like, there's no way we can be together, right? And be happy. We're not happy. Me and this woman, right? Like there is far from chemistry. It just won't happen, And,
so what were the kind of, you already said one example.
Yeah.
What were other tipping points where you were like, all right, it's best that we just stop?
Well, it's just our outlook on life, and our friendships with other people, and like.
So there just wasn't a lot of compatibility then.
That was a lot of it, though. I would just see how she would interact with people, how I react to people, and like how we would kind of talk about raising our kid together. Kind of wouldn't be exactly the same, and it was just it was just bickering. And honestly, you could chop it up to a lot of bad timing too, because it was not good timing for probably either of us,
Yeah.
So, but I remember thinking and having conversations with like my mentors and my sponsor, people I know. I'm like, dude, I just can't. We have to separate, and like we did, and it was not amicable at all. But I was like, this kid's got more of a chance to know what a healthy relationship is if there's 2 parents separated. You know what I'm saying? Then I would rather him see that. 2 healthy relationships, hopefully. Like it was hopefully.
People don't think about it that way.
Dude, I thought about it so hard. Then seeing if this kid would see us together, it would just be miserable, and he would think this is normal. This like weird tension and like just almost like quiet disdain for each other.
And being around that energy all the time, just negativity.
Dude, I was like, I don't want to put it through it, dude. So
no.
But yeah, we'll get to that later though. But
yeah.
But my parents were great. Yeah, they were great.
I can already tell just from the little you told me.
Yeah.
And where you're at now, it's like I can see the impact that they made on you.
Yeah, no, my mom passed away a couple years ago. So sad. But
sorry to hear that.
But my dad, he just moved to Kentucky, and like I think about it. It's funny. It's because we don't. When you might be the same, dude. When we're younger, it's like we don't even give a shit about our parents, dude. We don't, dude. I mean,
it's in our nature, man.
I know, dude. I know, dude. But like, I mean, they were cool, dude. Like, it was fine, and I just thought they were just good parents, and they were just really laid back because like. My older brother got all the like no girlfriends over, no late nights, right? And they're like,
you got the short end of it.
They were like, have the girlfriends over, you guys can go out, do whatever. But we were good kids though. We got like good grades. We went to college. Like we didn't get in trouble. Not until like our 20s, bro.
Okay.
So, but I never thought about. You don't think about your parents until I had a kid or until I was older or really struggling with like drugs and stuff. And I was just like, man, I was like. You guys are great. Yeah. Like, do you see what they do for you? And like, they pretty much sacrifice their lives and
unconditional love.
Yeah, and I'm just like, damn. So I just, yeah.
Did you just go back into memory there?
Yeah, I did. But I feel like some people don't get the chance to even think about it. Maybe they won't even have the chance to.
It's kind of a blessing and a curse, right? Because it's like,
a
lot of times it's something like that, like a death of a family member that makes you then kind of go down that road and start thinking about them and then appreciating every little thing of who they were, how they were,
yeah.
and just everything they did for you, and
They did a lot, man. The thing is, they didn't just do it. If I think, and this is the thing, you don't realize this stuff about your parents until like you're in a lot, like your late 20s maybe or something, right? But like my parents had me, my twin brother, my adopted brother, and my older brother, and they just did whatever they could for all of them, dude. So they were when I was hitting like 28, almost 30, my dad finally was like, hey, dude, like he was like, hey, he's like, I'm not supposed to worry about you anymore, you know? He's like, I can't do it, because I was, like rehabs and stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't do it. I've done it. He just couldn't do it anymore, you know? My mom just like, they couldn't do it, you know? But they the whole time before that, though, they just did.
yeah,
Drained their bank accounts, picked me up wherever. My brother, same thing. And the thing with my brother, because he came out as gay, right? And this is how cool my parents are. They weren't really into that idea. They weren't.
yeah.
You know, they were like,
Especially back then, it was.
and I wouldn't even go to the point of saying like it was the product of the times, but they just didn't really know. They
They weren't exposed to it. They didn't know anything about it.
Their area their whole life, pretty much, right? And they're just like, they don't know a lot of gay people, right? And they're just like, there ain't no way, dude. I remember my dad being like, don't tell any of our friends from the spearfishing club. Like, don't tell anybody this stuff, dude. I don't want anyone knowing about it. And I was like, whatever, Dad, right? But their turnaround from that was so fast, dude.
Yeah.
Like 6 months, dude. Like,
Wow.
they really were like, what are we doing? This is our kid. I mean, it was so fast. I was so impressed. And then they were like, they would see the boyfriends, like, he lived in New York, and I couldn't believe it, dude. But they did the same thing. They did the same thing when it came to me and drugs and stuff. They were like, okay, well, they would literally research people and like call people, like whatever, doctors and like AA people.
Figure it out.
Just figure it out. Same thing, my adopted brother. They would be like, something's up. He's bipolar. What do we got to do? Send him to work. They send him to Texas, to wherever. Dude, I was like, dude, when you think about my parents, dude, I got nothing but respect. It's crazy. And I'm glad, I'll tell you this, and I'm glad my mom, before she died, dude, she saw me, and like I told her plenty of times that, and she knew, and like I'm glad she got to see me like be a dad.
Yeah.
And like it's sad, man, because she died, but she got to see it.
She got to see the good stuff.
She got to know that I care about her, and we can and she got to see my kids.
That's so rare.
And I was like, so when she passed, I was sad, but I was like, that's what always gets me though. So I'm like, dude, she got to see it, you know what I mean? Because not everybody gets that blessing of like, they just see the shit,
Most people don't, man.
Yeah, so
That's a blessing.
yeah,
It
so
really is.
yeah, I'm sorry, my parents, they're great. They're great parents, dude. Yeah, they are.
They are.
Yeah. So yeah, your parents.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I know I didn't want to stop you there because my camera's.
Oh yeah, you go ahead. Yeah,
So I wanted to check on that.
it's all good. Yeah, I'm actually, dude, I'm on vacation right now, bro.
You
I'm done with work.
perfect.
I'm leaving
I
tomorrow.
caught you at the perfect time. Then.
Dude, you got me.
This is
You won't
perfect,
find
man.
me in a better mood, bro. So, like, dude, it was getting a little weird in there, and I was like, guys, I'm done, bro. I got the staff set up for the next week. Like, you were good, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was it Holland?
Huh?
Do you manage?
Me and Nate manage this place.
Got it.
So, yeah. So, we're like co-managers, if you will.
Yeah.
So, but it's like we each have a role. Like, he does, like, the schedule and stuff. I do all the coffee ordering, coffee stuff.
Okay.
A lot of the training and just, like, general events and inventory. There's like different roles. Like schedule, I hate. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
You just getting calls all day for everybody. It's a cafe. So hey, I can't make it. It's just like, I mean, I will do it. Like I did it today, but we each have our own roles. Okay. And like me and Nate know each other for like a long time. This will probably be the only place and people that it'll work like that because it's like we know each other really well. Like we don't get mad at each other. But if you get somewhere else, it'd be like almost. It might be not the same situation.
It honestly makes such a big difference. Like the right people.
Yeah.
Working with the right people, being with the right people.
For sure.
It's everything.
Dude, I know. That's why.
But that's why I want to. At some point,
Yeah.
we're gonna get there. I
Yeah.
want to hear about this version of you.
Yeah.
This chapter of your
Well,
life.
if you want, I'll go right into the. I'll go into.
Because you mentioned a couple times now, with your upbringing and your parents, with the rehab, and how they were there for you.
For sure.
What happened where it even led to that point? What was that?
With the drugs and stuff?
Yeah.
So, I've had a lot of time to think about it. So, what I would say is, So anyone on drugs, dude, especially people that are around the people that are on drugs, right? Usually be like, dude, why? Like, why, dude? Like, that's like if you could figure out why people are doing drugs, dude, you figure out a lot of stuff of how to not get them on drugs, right? So it's kind of just a hard thing to nail.
It's the why.
Yeah, exactly. It's the why. That's the why. But for me, I've done a lot of introspection on that. But I'll put it this way. But I was straight edge, dude, in high school. No drugs. I didn't do any alcohol. Didn't do anything, dude. I was kind of, there was like
all the way up until high school.
Yeah, like high school, nothing. There was like a straight edge movement. I wasn't really part of that, but like I definitely was like, dude, I'm definitely that. That's me. Don't want any drugs, no drinking, and just didn't do that. I like punk music and stuff, but don't like that part of it, you know. So it kind of had a little chip on my shoulder about it too, a little bit. I'd be like, that ain't me, dude. You guys know, ain't happening. Yeah. And then I'd say like in college or whatever. And this is where I think it comes down to, because it's like you kind of go through a system a lot through school, and then you're in like, I went to community college, so it wasn't like, you know, you're just kind of like going through the motions of just like whatever, you know, and then you get to a point where you're like, what am I doing? You gotta ask the big questions like, what am I gonna do, whatever. But a lot of times you don't want to answer them, you know. You just like, it's too tough of a decision to make about your life.
Yeah, it starts to overwhelm you. It's a lot of pressure.
And it can be a privileged thing, too, because you're like, oh, I got all these options, you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
and there's a lot of people other side of the planet, they're struggling to and they would love
to do anything, you know? And I'm like, I'm good. I don't really know. It's too much pressure. But I remember at college, I was like, when I was in community college, it was just like, like getting bored, you know, or just kind of like whatever, you know? So I would that's when I started like drinking a little bit, you know, like. And then it was just like at work and stuff, you know, and I'm like, well, this is great, more fun. And it made sense, you know? Yeah. But like drinking kind of sucks, you know? It just kind of makes you crazy, and it just feel bad the next day or whatever. And then, you know, but I was like really I was at this prime age where I'm like, I need a purpose, you know? Mm-hmm. And like school wasn't work, and I was living at my parents' house still. My brother was too, and it was just like, so like, I remember being like, I'll just like smoke weed or whatever. I didn't really like that, you know? Yeah. And then it's like, took a couple pills one day. Oh, you know what it was though? Is we got in a car accident. Big car accident. We would go to pretty much the club every weekend, this little indie club. Yeah. And pretty much every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right? All a couple of our friends. One time, somebody's driving, a car flipped. There's 8 of us in the car. Oh, shit. People everywhere. One girl got pretty hurt. She's okay now, but it was pretty scary. Yeah. My brother broke his foot, and then they gave him some, like, oxycodone or something, right? And it was like, he didn't really take it. I remember it was, like, just chilling. And then one day I was like, I'll take him, because whatever. I don't know why. I just took him, and dude, it felt great. I went to class. I was raising my hand. I was like, whatever, right? Like participating or whatever. And
what does that feel like?
Dude, it feels me. It just it just feels good. It's like all it is a nice little warm feeling, and ain't nothing touching you. You know what I mean? You just feel like you look good. Yeah. You feel good. You like everything you say. Everyone's paying attention. That's just what it feels like. It might not be the reality. Right. But it really feels
what it does.
Good. But that was like kind of that was like the first like drug, you know what I'm saying? But I worked in restaurants. Everyone at work, are on drugs, you know? I remember this kid, this young little kid. He would every day. He had this big bag, a big Ziploc bag. Dude, it was stupid. It was like he would just be like, "Dude, I got whatever." It'd be like, you know, pills, Xanax, Roxy's, cocaine. It was like whatever you wanted, bro. Like pretty much, except for like crazy stuff like heroin and crack or whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, let me get whatever, bro. And I would try them at work because I don't know. And then, but I just really like started just doing pills all the time, like opiates, you know, like Roxy's. And dude, it's like. It took no time to where that just made sense, right? So now that was the solution. Like, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. Because, really? Yeah, I had no ambition whatsoever. Besides, I mean, I'm a pretty ambitious dude, I think. But I remember doing those, I'm like, this is the answer, dude. It makes you feel good all the time. There's no hangover, right? Huh. You don't know anything about it. Yeah. Like, they're definitely during the pill epidemic, the height of it, right? And there are pills everywhere, and they're cheap. You can get like, for so cheap, you know, you can get like I think it was like $10. You can get like 2 blues at the time. It was nowadays they'd be like probably $40, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, you get a bunch. You get paid every day. So I was probably 21, right? Just being like just doing pills, right? And every day would be like, just let me get like a bunch of pills. Just do those, and you build up a tolerance really fast, right? On like opiates, right? And I worked better, I thought. It did. No one really knows because you're just a kid. They don't know what you're doing. I'm not really telling anybody. I think I've told a couple people, but everyone I knew was kind of open-minded with stuff, and they're like, all right, whatever. And then they were good with drinking. I'm like, I'm good with the pills, man. And then I remember I would always read a lot, but I would read some of the like books from like William S. Burroughs and like some other books that had drug culture in it,
Oh, yeah.
some like beatnik books and like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, whatever.
All right.
Now I'm like thinking drugs are kind of cool, poetic,
Right, you're creating a whole identity behind it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
But you start connecting to it through your books, through
100%.
those lifestyle you're living with your friends.
100%, bro. There's a book called Junkie by William S. Burroughs. It was like a great book. I wasn't even doing like heroin at the time, but I was like, this don't sound that bad. He shows in that book, I can quote lines about that book, but like he shows the good, the bad, the everything, right? And I'm just like, this is all great. All sounds great, right? Yeah. And to fast forward a little bit, it was like a problem, But I remember even like
but it made you, so do you feel like it made you, because it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Because before that, you were looking for a sense of self, sense of identity.
Yeah, no.
Right? And then it looks like this ended up giving you that.
Definitely.
That makes it even worse because it's like so powerful.
Dude.
Like, connect to it so much.
And that took a little bit of a time to realize that. It's easy for me to say it now.
Right.
But just from like being clean for so long, I'm like, I really think it's what it is, because throughout my history of my life, making hard decisions, like just decisions of like when I had my first child, right? Or like if I wanted to move, or even if I would have a job, right? And they were like, oh, you're going to be the manager or something, right? I'd be like, oh, man, I don't know, dude, it's kind of tough. I would be like straight to drugs, dude, because it made sense, you know what I'm saying? But that took a long time to realize. But to fast forward it, when I was doing the pills, right? I knew immediately, dude, that I wanted to do heroin. I wanted to use a needle. I wanted, from like some of the movies and books. Yeah. Like there's all these weird like movies that if you only watch the first half of it, it's all fun, dude. You know what I'm saying? There's like one with Permanent Midnight would be a good one. There's one with Heath Ledger in it. I forgot the name of it. And like they're just all about like junkies.
Yeah.
And you're like drugstore cowboy, right? There's all these movies. I'd be like pursuing them, right? If they're about like drugs,
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yeah, I want to watch that, I want to be part of that. So I was like immediately, but I wasn't really that entrenched in like this drug culture to be like, who's got like heroin and needles? I didn't know idea. But eventually I was like found like a needle from somebody, and you can do that with pills, right? And I would try it. It wouldn't work. I was doing it all wrong, right?
Yeah.
But at that point, like it was getting out of control. And this is when I was like 21 or 22, right? My parents sent me to rehab. They were like, something's up in the sky, dude.
How do they react to that?
It was just like that. You ever see that show Intervention?
Nah.
Okay, well, there's a show where it's all about that. Anyways, my parents watched the show. They called the number, had the guy come out. My parents are not wealthy, dude. This is like money you have to spend, dude. All right, they just maxing out credit cards, right? And then they're like, this guy came over, and they had an intervention first time, right? And I wasn't even that like, I wasn't like that much of a drug addict. I was definitely different, I was like, feel like this is gonna be me, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But my parents knew something's up, right? But that's how. But it was strong reaction, There was like all my friends and family at the house, right? And they're like, something's up. You're gonna go to rehab today. And I was like, it's funny. They were reading the letters. They made me listen to all these. It took like an hour, dude.
Oh, it was a full-on intervention.
Dude, it was like 30.
Everybody's taking turns.
My bro, all my family, all my close friends, my brother, they were crying. My dad's crying. My dad don't cry right that much, And it's like, I already knew I was gonna go. I was like, what am I gonna do, right? I'm like, what about work? I already called. You're done. You're good. You'll come back when you're clean. Yeah. All this stuff, right? It was like a restaurant job. It carried early, and then so fast forwarded a little bit. It was like sent me to rehab. Did that, right? Out in California, right?
Okay.
So it's like 60 days, right?
Yeah.
Came right back. I was like, I'm good. Went to work at another restaurant. Got a job. Boom. Started doing right again. Nothing made sense.
How about that?
Yeah, because it was like same thing, same feelings, right? Like, like whatever, I'm just like, nothing's really clicking, dude. But you know what? is the solution. You know, it's gonna make me feel great. The drugs, right? Did the pills, right? And then went back out. It was like no time. It was like within 30 days. My parents were like, you can go back. You can go back, right? But they had a plan. They're like, you're gonna stay over there. So after 30 days in this rehab again, they were like, you're staying, dude. So you're not coming back here. And I don't really have I don't have the bravery to be like, nah, I'll do whatever I want. I had no idea how to live my life. I just lived with my parents the whole time, like I was a young man. So just to wrap it up a little bit, when I was out there, I was still like, what am I doing out here? You know, like I was just working a little job and doing little things. But I would meet these kids, and then they're like, oh, you know, we can get pills and stuff. And then that's why I first started doing like heroin. Like I remember first they got a needle. You had to use needle with these kids I don't even know. And I remember they put it in my arm, and I was like, I think it doesn't work. And it takes a couple seconds. It takes like a good 5 seconds, right? And I was like, I don't know, guys. I can't believe I wasted my time this day or whatever. And also, I was like, a kid. And I was like, we were literally like best friends. I don't know, these kids. We're playing catch in the backyard, right? I worked at Starbucks at the time. I'm like, dude, I know a scam that we could just go get free drinks and whatever. And like, because it wasn't in my neighborhood, you know? And I'm like, and then we just did. So that's all I did out there.
Yeah.
And then, but at the same time, it's like, it's not that sustainable, you know, like shooting heroin. But so you run out of money fast. I was in a halfway house. They were gonna find out. So you can get on like Suboxone or methadone like that anywhere. So I did that, and then like I just called mommy and daddy and was like, hey, I'm broke, and you know I went. They flew me back home because I was like, I'm good. I lied to them, right? I'm like, I'm not doing nothing, but I started doing Suboxone again, which is like methadone.
Okay.
And I'm like, just lying now at this point. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I just did this because it's their curb cravings. They told me I could take it, so whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's when like the lying started, right? And if you don't know me, like I just don't lie, dude. And like I don't like liars. And it's whatever, right? It's
the truth.
Yeah, exactly. It's a long story, but like to kind of like wrap it up in little packages is like after that point, dude, like it is such the solution. Like doing drugs like heroin, dude, like it will not. There won't be, even today, there won't be a better solution.
Yeah.
It fixes the problem. It does. But it's just temporarily. It is so flat, it's so fleeting. And it's like, the problem's fixed, right? Like, here's the problem, boom, it's fixed. And then it's like, only for like a little while, right? But then it implodes immediately afterwards.
So what was, in that moment, like that example you're giving,
yeah,
what's the problem? In your head, what was the
problem? Like when I started like to do like heroin, or like
what's the problem that it's fixing in your head,
dude? And I'll tell you what, it's from a long time of thinking about it. It's the pursuit of purpose, you know what I mean? It's just having a purpose, you know what I mean? And like feeling needed and feeling you know, like the feeling you have a purpose in this life, dude. So we only, you know, that's really, I think
it's so easy to get lost.
Yeah, and
all the distractions.
It's very confusing. If you think about life in general too, it is all just distractions, you know. So you get a lot of people don't even. I can't really speak for everybody else, but I would assume a lot of people don't even think about the true purpose.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, you know,
you get so caught up. I mean, we get brought into a world that's already existed for who knows how long, and things are already established, right? All the systems, all the
you're good. Yeah,
your diet, your environment, your
you
know, your education, everything's already.
Just what I'm saying, you and as a kid, you don't really have a choice.
You don't.
You know,
this is the only world you know. You get brought into it.
So it's like, and if you have parents or you're just around people that encourage you to think a little bit about that, I think you have, in my opinion,
that's the luck of the draw.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of it's luck, a lot of it. But if you have some kind of like desire to at least in my opinion, to be happy, right? To be happy. You'll try to find that purpose, you know, purpose or drive or some kind of motivation, which there would probably be, there's got to be some kind of word for all of it, right? I think a lot of people would be like God or something, right? Like, but I would use that term, but pretty broadly, you know? But yeah, you know, but that's what a lot of it was. That was the problem, dude. Just trying to find.
So what was a
heavy thing to do?
Tipping point there. How did you get out of that?
Well, it was going on for a long time, dude. So it was like, once I started doing that in California, dude, I knew I wanted it all the time. It definitely was a big part of my identity. And I would find like people that would just kind of accept it. And it's kind of easy to do. A lot of people are open-minded. They don't judge them. There's like people like that. And I did it for a long time, dude. I did it and I would constantly like I came back to St. Pete, started just making that my thing. I'd have to move, go to New York, right, with my brother. And I'd be like, can't do that anymore. And then as soon as I would feel like things were good, and then I'd have to make the next step. I have to make the next decision. Like, do I want to stay in New York and, develop a career and a family here? This is a big decision, dude. Well, I'm up there. I'm making it happen, working like 2 jobs, whatever, and not doing drugs. But I'll be like, that's a hard decision to make. You know what the solution is? Doing heroin. Because it made sense, right?
Wow.
So then I would train. Once you do it, that's your identity train wreck, right? So I'd come back to St. Pete, right? And I would do the same thing. I would be like, all right, things are good. Finally got a thing going, right? And it'd be like a year. When I came back to St. Pete for the first time, bro, it was like a year clean. I was killing it, in my opinion, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, and I did not have a good reputation here of like a person, just kind of like a junkie,
Right.
That kind of was washing away because I was like, just, working and being around town and just being like good, And then I started doing it again, train wrecking. So let's just say like that was 10 years of that from California to St. Pete to New York, back to say all the stuff, just doing literally. And if I met you, I might have mentioned like, oh yeah, I lived in California, lived in New York, dude. I did, but I was just going there to get away from drugs and then trying to get a life there, and I just couldn't hack it, Like it's just like couldn't hack it, But I'll tell you this: what made it. It was a long time, dude. And I'd go to detox all the time. It got to the point where I would my parents were like, just were exhausted. Everyone's exhausted, and like, I'm not a hard guy to like. Really, I'm not a mean person, And I feel like there's always a lot of people rooting for me, dude. But I'm just fucking using everybody, dude. Just using them, right? And eventually, they were just like good friends of mine, or just in my parents. They're just like, I don't know. What do you want? You're like a man. You're grown up, dude. Like, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
But the short of it is like I went to this detox. It's in Palm Harbor, right? Like 6 times,
Okay.
in 5 weeks or something stupid, right? Just kept because you had to like go. You come back in like 2 weeks. That's some kind of weird thing, right?
Okay.
But there's just nowhere to go, dude. Right? Like I know they would immediately take me or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they all know I was into coffee and I could do like latte art and stuff, right? Because like when you're there, you're medicated, you're kind of feeling good, just talking, right? Mm-hmm. So like I remember like being there the 6th time. They're like, "Oh, Jason's back." No way, I love Jason. Like they were like happy to see me, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, dude, it was just nauseating, dude. They're like, "Oh, he's the coffee guy, dude. That does they used to do comedy out in L.A. or whatever." I was like, "Oh yeah." They're like, "Okay," and they were like excited to see me, right? And they knew my name. It's like the behavioral stabilization unit in Palm Harbor. Like I'm so embarrassed.
Oh.
Everyone on the outside of there, it's just miserable. I'm making my kid at the time was 6 months old, right? The last time I went in there, and I'm like, or maybe he's a little older, yeah. So he's probably, I think he was about 18 months old. Anyways, but I remember being like, dude, I can't, sitting in the detox for like the 6th time, and I'll put it this way: I've been to detox probably 20 times, but this one I was just going to at that time, right?
Okay.
And then I remember like sitting in the little bed, and I had this guy next to me, dude, and they had my roommate. He was like a meth addict, dude, and he was like a true like skinhead racist dude, right?
Okay.
And like my girlfriend at the time gave me a couple books to read. One of them was it's called like The Night, that book, or
I feel like I heard of it, but nah, I don't know.
Something like that. But it's about the Holocaust, right? About all that process of like the Holocaust and how they took the Jews and put them on trains and this is the mess, right? And the terror of it. Right. And we were like, but like he would be like, we got so mad he'd throw the fucking book in the trash, dude. I was like afraid of this dude, right? And he's like, as soon as I get out, man, I'm making the meth. And then if someone comes, and I was like, dude, this guy's crazy, bro. Like, and I'm like, I don't want any part of this, dude. And I couldn't get another room, right? And he sees this book, and now he hates me, dude, because I'm like, not anything like this guy, right? And I just had the book, right? And then I remember just like, and then from them, knowing my name, I'm sitting there, and I was like, I remember just like kind of praying or whatever, meditating, and I was like, dude, you do not have to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I had to just think about it, dude. Like, I was just like, you don't have to do it again, and you don't have to feel like this again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be here again. It literally takes you not doing drugs, dude. And I go to AA all the time, right? And they're always like, you know, you don't have to feel this way again. And all this stuff they teach you, right?
Yeah.
I literally just was like, I don't know.
Why do you think it changed? Because you said it right there that you knew all this stuff.
Well, I'm telling you now.
Repetition, but what changed that time?
I think it changed because I was like, I just had this weird, they call it in AA, a moment of clarity. I straight up had it, right? And I'm like, dude, you have talent. Like, you know, like you are not, like you can reach people, right? So I was just like, you cannot waste your life, dude. You have a son, right? You cannot.
This is your first son?
Yeah, for the first one, yeah. I was just thinking to myself, I was like, you have like you have something, dude. And I was sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, at this detox, and it all comes back to the making decisions and having a purpose, right? I'm like, you have to make the decision, and you have to stick to it, and you cannot run away anymore. I'm literally like talking to myself at this point. This guy, that crazy guy, like ended up doing something crazy, and so I had like 2 nights of this freezing room to myself, right? And I'm like literally like talking to myself, like, you know, just I wasn't really that.
You were saying it out loud too.
Yeah, well, I would just be like, okay, you don't have to do this anymore, and I'm like, you know, you have a purpose. You're gonna find it, dude. You're gonna get out of this, and you are gonna make these decisions that are always driving you away, and always. It's because every time it was a big decision to make, dude, I didn't want to get run, and it's. I think I'm very lucky to kind of know that that's kind of what it is that would scare me so much. You know, is just making decisions, dude. You know, so I just remember like I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just do whatever stupid shit I gotta do, right, to like just get out of it, you know. And I've done it all, dude. I've done NA, AA, rehabs, whatever, you know, like methadone, Suboxone, like all the stuff, dude, right? And I'm just like, I'm just gonna submit myself to it, and I'm gonna give it as long as it needs. You know, it's like there's no one. I don't care what people judge. I can't be judged anymore. You know, like nothing could. What's that gonna? What do I care?
You had enough.
I'm like, yeah. So I remember getting out of there, and I was like, pretty much just like, good. You know, I was like, I'm gonna go to got a sponsor, bro, and like did that route, which you probably don't know a lot about the NA community, but
I got nothing, man.
But they're really, it's just a bunch of guys and girls that like try to get clean, and they have like kind of like some steps you follow, and I just entrenched myself in that. But I've done that for like almost 10 years, and I know everyone in the community, and they know I relapse a lot, and I go to do this stuff, right? And it's kind of embarrassing when you're at the lowest point of your life, going to this thing where these people did try to help you, but you're just like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But to really just be like, I'm back, and didn't say. Usually I'd talk too much, you know, which you might kind of gather.
So when you were coming back,
yeah,
were you getting a lot of distance from people?
No,
so that because you already built a reputation.
Maybe a little bit, man.
And they're like, this guy again.
Like I did a little bit. I did. There were some people like, you know what you got to do, and there would be some people because you have to ask for a sponsor, right? They're like, I can't help you, man. I can't. They're like, you need someone else, you know, like. Because you've
been there, done that so many times.
I appreciate the honesty, and I did find a sponsor who did. He was amazing, and a lot of it though was like my family and friends, dude. Especially like my girlfriend, who's now my wife, right? Because she stuck with me the whole time. God bless her, you know. And but she'd be like, think about how embarrassing this is, dude. Like, I worked at the cafe, right? And all the money I can't touch, dude. Right? Like tips we get and stuff, dude.
What do you mean?
Cause I was like, I won't touch the money. Like with Teddy, the owner here, he's like, oh, I'll put it aside, right? And like whatever, right? But he's not always there. So sometimes I would just be like, hey, I can't touch that. There'd be like a 16-year-old girl there, some teenager, right? I'm like, hey, I can't really be taking that. You know, you gotta just put it like in the drawer or something, and they'll find it tomorrow, right? And they're like, why? I'm like, because I was a drug addict. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's because it's kind of what, but it's pretty humbling, dude. It'll be like. I'm not allowed to touch the money right now for like a year, dude. It was a year that my wife did. She touched all the money, dude, And even after a year, I'd be like, well, let me get my account back so I can at least like kind of get some bills paid, like kind of do my own thing now.
So how was all that set up? Was that with your girlfriend or the whole like, don't touch the money thing? How was that?
That part, I don't know if you know Teddy, the owner at Crack. Yeah. Okay, so he's pretty laid back and like pretty open-minded dude, you know. But he was, you know, and I'm the first staff member at Cracks, so like we have a lot of emotional attachment to each other.
Yeah.
To this cafe, he knew my wife, you know what I'm saying, my girlfriend at the time, fiance, if you will, and then but they just talked, and like we all talked, you know. I mean, even when I got out of that detox at one time, it was like 3 months. I did Uber, you know what I'm saying. I just kind of did whatever I had to do to get money.
By,
and then I'd be like, well, let me come back because I mean I really like the cafe, you know what I mean. And he's like, okay, well, you know, we've kind of done this a couple times already.
Oh, so you were here before?
Yes, dude. I've stolen money from here before, you know. And like, I've taken money from the drawer, but but like I said, I'm not really a good liar, you know. Like, I did it for a little bit. I was never good at it. And one day he called me, and I was like, yeah, I took it. I went to the trap house. I'm coming back right now. And he would just be like, okay. And then he's like, you can't work here. But he was just always honest. He's like, listen, dude, give it 3 months. And then you come back, you can't touch any of the money. You just be the barista, you know what I'm saying? And fortunately, I'm not a bad barista, you know? And so, like, and then I'm not bad with people. So it's like, it's not terrible. But I got to give credit to Teddy because, like, most people will be like, even people that were working there are like, dude, he can't come back.
Yeah.
And it's like, he can't, you know? So he gave me the chance, you know? So, but anyways, they set it up. They just talked to each other. I said, whatever you want, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know? And it was pretty awkward. It lasted a long time, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
How long are we talking?
It was like a year, dude. It was 6 months to a year. I think it was 6 months. Wow. And I started bringing the money home at least and the checks and stuff. But I would give it to my girlfriend. And even after a year, she started crying, dude. You know, she's like, because it just put her through a lot, you know. Like, you know, she would come to the trap house in her nurse outfit, knocking on the door. And, like, you know, it was bad, dude. So, yeah.
I gotta give credit to your wife.
Dude, I have nothing but love for my wife, dude. I have no desire for any other woman. It's crazy. You know, I don't look at women. I love her so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't ever talk. Actually, I don't even talk about anyone's relationship, right? Just because I don't want anyone saying anything about ours. Because I'm just like, dude, this is my partner. You know what I mean? So, yeah, she's amazing. Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah. You got a girlfriend? Or
I do.
Nice, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a similar thing. Like, I haven't had somebody in my life that, yeah, it's just like, I wouldn't think about anybody else.
Yeah.
I can't think about anybody else.
Dude, it's nice, dude.
When they just fit.
Yeah.
And it feels like more than just, you know, oh, we're hanging out, or this is fun. It's more than that. It's like, I can create a life with this person.
Yes.
This is more than I ever imagined with anybody else. You know, so it's a good place.
No, I love it. Yeah, I'll stay here forever.
Yeah.
With my relationship, and it also teaches me it's like we have such a good relationship. You know, It's like I don't have time for bad relationships. You know, so if I have a bad friendship or something, I'm like, you know, I don't need this. You know, like it's not working out for either party.
So how long ago was all that? With Teddy, with your
Teddy, that was I'll be 9 years clean in September. So that was like eight, little over 8 years ago. So
wow.
So we gotta say we opened craft 10 years ago, and it was like 2 years in. You know,
all that was happening.
Yeah, it was actually like a year in, maybe even less. You know, so it was like.
So what happened? So from that point,
yeah.
Who are you now, and how did you get there? With the whole triathlon thing.
Oh yeah,
all the stuff that you're into now.
Well, okay. So when I finally got clean, dude, like where it was like. Finally happened, you know. So really it was kind of like it was like a year probably of just being like whatever suggestions, like just doing it. Because I'm it's like a lot of people, I'm like being told what to do, I guess, but I was like, you know what, you want me to meet you every other day, I need to go to a meeting every day, or that's fine, dude. I just did that. And I did that for like a year, just pretty much doing like Uber for a long time. working just a little bit at the cafe, just get the bills paid, enough to help out at least, you know?
Right.
And really just kind of like build a foundation, I guess you will, like build relationships and just get the trust back, you know?
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm dealing with my son's mother, who does not want me to be part of my older son, you know, and knows was on relapse and all this stuff. And like, so it was just, I was like, I have no control anymore. Like, I don't, you know? So I was just like, just did that for a good year. And then I remember like the year hit, I was like, okay. And then, proposed to my wife, you know, and then, cause I knew that's what she deserves it, you know what I'm saying? But she was so afraid for so long, right? So we got married when I was 18 months clean, right? And we got married, and then we had a child, you know, pretty much a year later, you know? So it was pretty much going into family mode. But at the same time, you know, went to barber school. I was trying to really, with an open mind, like figure out like what it is that drives like me and my family, and like really prioritize. I'll write stuff down sometimes.
Yeah.
And just really try to prioritize stuff and like check my emotions with a lot of stuff and check my honesty, because it's still like there's like an inherent desire to lie in everybody, dude, or embellish, you know, or like
we're a human.
Yes, you know what I'm saying. But I was really trying to like cut a lot of that out, you know. And a good example of this is like I was kind of like when I first got clean, it was kind of like whenever I'd feel weird or sad or whatever, I just wanted to hit the fast food, you know, like. I don't know why. Just go to McDonald's.
It's another vice, right? Another thing to kind of.
But I would just be like, man, it's right there. I'm gonna eat some garbage, bro, shake or something. Just in my cards, looking at the phone or what. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do nothing. But then I would go home. Like, I'd go to work. There'd be like, you know, maybe an hour or half free or whatever, right? I'd go home, eat some trash, and then like my wife would, like your fiance at the time, would be cooking dinner, and I wouldn't be hungry.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you're not hungry? She's like, did you eat? And I'm like, nah, I don't know. I ate. I'm still hungry, you know? She's like, you didn't go to McDonald's or something? You know? I'm like, no. She's like, all right. And then we get in the car later to go somewhere, and it'd be like a receipt or, you know, smells, you know what I mean? She's like, why are you lying? I'm like, I don't know. So I had to like really check that out, dude, you know? So
this was before you proposed to her.
This
right?
was
this was effort.
probably right before. Yeah, that first year, and just like little things. I had to just be like upfront and like upfront with the judge. We had to go to the judge for my kid, you know, because that was a funny story actually, because I called it. We didn't have lawyers at the time, and then I called like a contempt for her, thinking that finally the judge is gonna like give it to her, right? And finally, she kept postponing it or whatever. And if you don't know this, but if you have two parents that don't have lawyers for the custody thing, most judges don't want to see you if you don't have two lawyers, because it's just two parents bickering. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a reality. They're just like, why am I going to babysit these two people? Like, what am I doing? But we went to this chambers, and then he was like, you know what? She's allowed to be afraid of you. You know, like, you're a drug addict, and like you done these things. You know, she could be afraid of you. You know, and I was like, what? I'm the one who called the fake. You know what I mean? Like, I was like so taken aback, you know. Yeah. But at the same time, I had learned to like not overreact with stuff, dude. And I was just like, all right, you know. I made a mistake. That's what I said. I said, Your Honor, I don't want to be known as a drug addict. That's not who I am. And he goes, slams his hand on the table, and he's like, that's where you messed up, right there. Stop everything. He goes, yeah. And then she gave me this big speech, and then embarrassingly enough, there's 3 young ladies there as interns that were like 16, 17, just watching. So the judge is like, what did he do wrong? And they were actually kind of like, I don't know, you know, just talking or whatever. He goes, he should have said he'll do anything for his kid. And what he decided to do is defend himself, right? He's going on and on. She's not in contempt. And then I'm like, what do I do now? You need to figure that out. Maybe get a lawyer, right? All this stuff, right? And then he goes like this. This is what he goes. He goes, how do you feel about that? And I learned this in the rooms, right? I just said, it's just another opportunity for growth, Your Honor, you know? And he goes, I hope you mean that. But I did mean it, and I just had to like I had to just save up money, get a lawyer, and you know.
Oh, so you went through with all that?
Went through with it, yeah. So we got it took a while, but we did get it all. But in the long run, it was like a big process of like really getting to know myself, you know. Yeah. But I was definitely like gonna put my family first, dude, and my recovery, and you know what I mean. And that's all I did, dude. I would just like family and make sure my family's good and make sure my recovery's good for a long time, because it ain't overnight, dude. I was a drug addict for a long time, dude. So when finally the kids got a little older you know, and like, you know, and it's get a little more time, honestly, you know, and stuff like that. I was like, I've always liked the, like, I always like fitness and stuff. And, you know what it was though? So, you know, I'll do casual little runs here and there. And a friend of mine invited me to go do this half marathon, and I ran with her, and I was like, dude, got whooped. You know what I'm saying? Like, just could not do it. You know? So I was like, you know what? I want to do a triathlon, and I did it and got whooped, dude. Like, dude, I remember going home and just being like, I was done for like days, right? And that was like within that, those two things were within like maybe a couple of months, you know. Okay. So after that, I was like, you know what? It was right around like Christmas time or Thanksgiving. I'm like, I'm not eating any more crap, and I'm just gonna give it pursuit as much free time as I can. Get up early, and I just did it, and it just took off, and it really filled a void of like just feeling good, and it's a purpose.
Do you feel like, I was gonna say, do you feel like it gave you purpose?
Yeah, it really does. It does feel like it gives me like something that's outside of my family, who I love, you know what I'm saying, like my kids. It gives me like, it's weird. It does give me like something to do. It could be that's a kind of a lame way to say it, but it gives me like an objective and a goal, you know, like the triathlon.
Yeah, we all need that. It's just something about human nature. It's like we always need something,
but it's like
to push us forward.
Yeah,
it's going.
You need it. That's what I'm saying. It comes out of that purpose and like that pursuit of like being driven, you know. But at the same time, I already know, like, I'm doing a big race, this Ironman, which is kind of like,
that's big.
That'll be in September. But it's already planting the seeds for like something that's next, you know. So we're like, I already know, I kind of like coaching baseball and stuff, but it's like giving back. I know I want to give back in a big way, like especially as a recovery or whatever.
Right.
So I know like when this is over, like this race, that's like I want to shift my free time, you know, to do something else, you know.
Okay.
So it's like it's good. That's good that's doing that, you know. Yeah. So it's really helped with that, you know.
So at this point in your life, you feel like, and I think it shifts for everybody over time through phases, but do you feel like you have that sense of purpose that you were looking for?
Well,
your whole life?
Not really, right? So the sense of purpose, right? But I do know that I'm pursuing it. You know what I'm saying? Like but it feels like dude, one of my favorite words is asymptote. You know what that is?
No.
It's a mathematical term, right? But it's like say you got like a XY axis like on a plane or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a curve.
Oh yeah, no, I remember this.
Yeah. I remember this. But it'll always curve, but it will never get to the axis. Yeah. So it's to infinity, right? So it's like, you know, I feel like I empathize with that mathematical term a lot. Yeah. It's like you're trying to get perfection, if you will, right? Or you're trying to find that purpose or whatever, but like it's going to be so close. I'm so close, you know what I mean? And I don't think I'll ever achieve it, but I'll be happy with the pursuit of it as long as I'm doing something good, you know? And it's something that's like something that's righteous, it might be the right word, but something that's good and something that gives back and it's for the greater good. I'll feel probably fulfilled, but the most importantly is like if my kids somehow by osmosis or by parenting, whatever, will have the same kind of stuff. Because I tell each of my kids now that I'm like, you need your main goal in life is to be happy. All right, It ain't money, it ain't pride. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're gonna go through all that. You're gonna want money, you're gonna want pride, you're gonna want fame. You already want fame. They love YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, but I'm like, but being happy, I'm telling you, that's what you're gonna want to pursue. That's gonna be the hardest thing you're gonna try to pursue. But if you think about it now, if you start like thinking about it, you'll have a better chance, you know. Yeah. So I do tell them that. I mean, they're 5 and 11, but they beat some.
Hey, start them young. That's good.
Kids will take on stuff.
Yeah, they will.
But to answer your question, it's like, do I feel like that I know what it is I want? Not really. Like I know I want my family to be healthy, happy all the time, and like I need me to be happy for the majority of the time.
Yeah.
But I do know, like, I'm thinking of stuff while I'm training for these, like, races. Like, when I'm training, dude, I really try to have a conscious effort to be, like, meditate or at least think about these things for a little bit, you know? And then I'll throw on the punk music or whatever, you know? Yeah. So, yeah.
Damn, man.
Yeah. So.
Dude, I'm really... And I know there's so much more that we haven't touched on.
Oh, for sure.
But I love the full arc of where you're at now.
Yeah.
And just everything you've been through. Because you got to, again, another thing to be grateful about. It's like that story could have ended a whole different direction.
Yeah. Just,
right? Like you could have gone deeper and deeper, and who knows if you would have even been here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just never know how things play out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I love to see, where it was going, but then you coming back full circle and trying to make up for what was lost.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
100%.
Like, whether it was your own doing or not, or just feeling like you weren't enough at the time.
Yeah.
It's just like you're kind of fulfilling that now.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Definitely making up for lost time. I say it all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I always, dude, it's not an original thought, but like when recovery, it's like, they'll say we're the lucky ones, like they got clean or whatever.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel that way. Like I feel so lucky that somehow got out of the mess of it, But when it comes to like being happy, or at least, I guess they're just from being like, when it comes to being happy, all right, because you gotta think for 10 years, I was miserable, right? Pretty miserable, I could not figure anything. I was pretty sad and depressed, and like nothing made sense, dude, confused, right? But I already went through that, right? So even like sometimes on like bad day, even like at work or something, right? Like I'm like, it doesn't even really touch it today, Right. So I'm just generally in a better mood always.
Yeah, because your baseline, your baseline.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The baseline is, it's there,
way lower.
Yes. And I kind of love that. That's why I think I'm so happy I got through it, because my patience is like huge, and like my anger, it's like I get angry a little bit, but I'm like, dude, I mean, like I'm not on drugs.
Then you trick yourself in the moment. You're like, come on, this is enough.
Yeah, I'll think about it every day, dude. I mean, I'll just be like, it's all good. Like even on bad days, like when my mom died and like just heavy stuff, I'm like, dude, it's like, at least I could do it. Like, at least I could be there. There's so much things for just being clean, which most people are anyways, dude. But I have such more of like a thirst for life, a little, you know what I mean? From being like thirsty forever, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah.
But I'll say this, and I'm nobody to even say it, but I know your mom would be so happy.
I feel her sometimes being happy, you know what I mean? So, that was good. Yeah. I appreciate you. Of course, man. Appreciate you.
That was great.
So it's good.